Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Joining me today for the second time is Almitra Mavalvala. She is a multi-talented performer fresh off the very successful run of her latest play For the Love of Paper in Sydney. She can act, she can sing, she can compose music, and as we have seen in her last episode, she can bring some bloody good banter over a cup of chai. Unfortunately, by the time this episode releases, Almitra will have left Australia, but we will use this opportunity to deep dive once again into some of the many trivial issues that impact immigrants in Australia, especially ethnic artists trying to make it in the Australian industry, among many, many other side quests. As always, I thank you guys for your support. If you are new to the podcast, kindly consider subscribing. If you are already subscribed, kindly leave us a comment and a like, because your engagement with my videos is the only thing that helps this channel grow. Also, if you have not done so already, kindly check out all of our social media platforms for our short form content. All of the highlights from this conversation and all of my past conversations are going to be up there, so do check that out. But anyways, without further ado, this is my conversation with Almitra Mavalvala in The Gap. You're the first person to come on the podcast for the second time. So this is a special episode for me. Even.
You're welcome.
To be honest, your episode got a fair few views.
Oh,
so I'm like, ठीक है बोल दो जितनी बकवास करनी है ना कर दो ताकि जितना
बकवास ही करनी है इधर
जितने कंट्रोवर्शियल व्यूज दे सकती हो ना सब दे दो ताकि और व्यूज
whatever helps you.
Yeah. So before we begin, as a matter of principle, I do have to ask you, do you condemn October 7th?
Yes, of course.
But fuck Netanyahu.
I just don't understand how he sleeps at night.
You have to be some kind, like, I do not understand the level of right-wing indoctrination that has to go into your childhood to turn you into a human being like that. And that goes for the entire fucking cabinet.
But I was having this conversation with a friend of mine in Pakistan.
Yeah.
I was like, how? I can't fathom it. Like, my brain just cannot fathom how he doesn't sleep with one eye open.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. In his mind, he's doing exactly what he's meant for, the higher purpose of creating this, of manifesting this destiny for his people. He is fulfilling the destiny. He is the promised one.
Judia. Sorry. No. You should not be swearing on your podcast.
Yeah, but like there's no better way to describe it. And it's not just him. It's a whole sentiment that's found across his entire cabinet. And there's a right wing there is an audience that consumes that.
I know. And that's
scary.
Shocking and
scary.
Terrifying. And I was just like, there are actually people who have no conscience.
Who are getting off on this. And you know what the hypocrisy is? The hypocrisy is some of the stuff that they've been saying. Just imagine for once if a Muslim had said it. Just imagine for once if a Muslim leader of a nation had gotten up and said that we're going to eradicate this segment of our society just because they have a different religion or because they're a different creed or a different race. And we are going and some Muslim leaders stood up and said that it doesn't matter which nationality or which race you are. If you are Muslim, you can come to this country and we'll give you fucking land for free to live in.
We live in a very fucked world.
But the rules apply. The rules apply differently to who it is.
Absolutely. You missed my show, but you know, in my play, I say, the places of our birth dictate our opportunities.
100%. 100%.
It's as simple as that, right? Why are you and I here in Australia? Why are we here?
Because we couldn't thrive in our own countries.
Like, you know, but then you come to this country and you realize that the opportunities are not the opportunities because of where you were born from.
Yes.
Right? And it's different, like the policies and the laws, and I can't control that, you know, but I've just kind of said, all right, it is what it is. You have your policies. some other country has other policies and other places have other policies. Like I'm not the one making these policies, so I can't really do anything about it, right? Because the people at the top will do what they want to do. Someone told me I should do a PhD in like research on like immigration law, and I'm like, no, thank you, I'm good.
It shouldn't require you to have extensive knowledge to stand up for something that is morally correct. I mean, the moral compass is just, it is what it is. Like, you're born with it, you know?
Yeah, and like so many people these days are just angry for me that I have to leave. And and obviously they're pissed off at the laws and the policies and you know how one skill set
Yes.
is preferred to the other, but also the weird ones are preferred.
Yes.
Like me as an artist contributing to the landscape, the culture, paying my taxes, right? Doing the thing and doing it honestly, have no place, but a barista does.
Yeah. It's
Do
very
you like-
hard. It's very difficult not
I
to
just
feel.
don't get it.
Very difficult not to feel infuriated by that, because, like, I look at you, right? You've done 2 plays on your own. Like, you've contributed to the zeitgeist. You've contributed to it. You've made the culture or the conversation richer by your presence. And yet, no, sorry, because of bureaucracy, you can't.
I can't.
You can't continue to stay on.
I
It's
can't.
weird.
It is weird, but you know, in those moments, and obviously there's a lot of acceptance, lots of reflection that I've done over the year, over these past few months.
Yeah.
And I guess part of me is also just kind of like, cool, bye.
Are you tired of the shit?
Yeah, 100%.
Because the last time we spoke, you said you've already made your peace with the fact that you're leaving.
yeah, how
back
long
then,
ago
right.
was that? When did we do this?
6 months ago?
Yeah.
6 months
After
ago.
Blacklisted, yeah.
So
still had an expiry date.
Yeah.
I had made peace with it.
You had made peace with it, right?
Yeah, you know, and obviously the hopeless optimist in me was like, maybe things will change. Kuch na kuch ho jayega. But at this point, I'm like, see ya. And it's
तुम्हारे मसले का ना सिर्फ एक ही हल था.
नहीं
एक करती लड़का.
नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं.
और करती शादी. तुम्हारे मसले का सिर्फ
नहीं
ये
करनी
हल
मुझे
था.
शादी. नहीं करनी मुझे शादी. You would know about this if you came and saw my play, which you missed.
Yes, I did. I did.
Whose fault was that?
Yeah, it was obviously mine.
Of
देखो वो अब मैंने तुमसे पूछा था. I asked you that if it's child friendly. You told me it's R-rated.
I said it was M-rated.
M-rated.
हाँ,
Okay,
which
not
is
R-rated.
16
Sorry,
plus.
not R-rated.
M-rated.
M-rated.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
But they also wouldn't
kids.
have understood.
Yeah, kids. Yeah.
Boy
kids.
them.
Couldn't
Like-
have left them now.
क्यों? Babysitter.
No babysitter.
Why?
Yeah, देखो, my younger daughter,
Needs.
my younger daughter is going through her clingy phase. So she like needs mommy. So if anybody could have come, it would have been me. And I don't want to have that conversation कि मैं जा रहा हूँ play देखने.
Bye.
तुम संभालो
But
बच्चों
you
को.
came to see Blacklisted.
Yeah, because she wasn't here at that time, na. She when I came to see Blacklisted, she was in
back.
Saudi with her parents,
Okay,
right? So
right.
I could have gone out and seen Blacklisted. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I mean,
Fine. We'll be back.
I care about the production enough that I want to have this conversation. So
Okay.
would fill me in. So let's start with that then.
Yep.
Last time we spoke, you said that you were working on a play. You were writing a play called For the Love of Paper.
Yes.
And you weren't willing to give out a lot of details because you're like, koi chura lega mera idea.
हाँ, pretty much.
ठीक है. So now that the play is done, and it was a
Yes.
rousing success. Like I saw the post, I saw the people giving you the standing ovations, I saw the reviews, all the posts, amazing. And the set,
Yes.
I loved the set.
Paris Bell.
You know, what I loved about the set was it had audience on all 3 sides. On 2 sides.
sides, yeah,
On 2
traverse.
sides. And that was such a fun concept because the play is taking place in the middle.
In the middle. And it's an interesting space to navigate. And I think back about it now, and I'm like, I wonder how it would feel on a normal
front stage. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it just worked so well in that space.
And you know, one thing
and I think KXT is one of the only spaces that does that that space to traverse. Yeah.
One thing I found interesting about that was that as an audience member, depending on whether I was sitting on the left or right of you, I would have gotten a different glimpse.
Yeah.
Of
Absolutely.
Of how the play was. So my interpretation of the play would have been different from somebody sitting across on the other side.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think that also comes into like blocking, and we do try and play to both sides. Or like,
how did you guys do it? Was that really difficult? Like you understood that you're not supposed to have your back to the audience, but when you've got audience on two sides.
Yeah, look, there are challenges around the traverse stage, and it, like, you never break the fourth wall in that moment, but there are times where you will back the audience.
Of course.
It's just,
of course, that's the way it is.
Yeah. And it's like human nature.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking to someone and you're moving around in a space, you will be backing them at some point. You're not going to pedal backwards.
Of course.
So it's just, we played in that space, and yeah, it was a really good, well received.
Yeah.
Show.
Really well received. Like I saw almost, like, you guys were playing for what, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
Almost 3, yeah.
Almost
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks, right? And you guys were packed. Even on weekdays, you guys were
Pretty
packed.
much, yeah. Yeah, we brought in a very beautiful audience, and you know it's a Desi crowd when, you know, they get every joke in the show. You know, all of the Desi humor, all of like the mums having a go at you, and you know it's a Desi crowd because they know that mother. They know that grandmother.
Yeah.
They know the nuances.
The little references.
Yeah. And so it was just every night was different. We had some rowdy, beautiful theater crowds, which went off. And then we did have some quieter crowds.
Yeah.
And in those moments, you really realize that you still give your 110%.
Of course.
Every night. Doesn't matter if there's 3 people in the audience or it's a packed 100-seater audience. But my beautiful cast just, you know, we held on to each other no matter what. And I love and adore them. I really, truly
Tell me about opening night. So the first night that you guys were actually performing, before the show actually opened, I guess you guys had the first preview, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Like, just before you guys went on, what was your mind space?
Oh, I think obviously there were things, and that's why we have previews to sort of
nut out the details,
kind of get comfortable with the space, kind of work around the space, what is working, what is not. We had a live stove on stage. We were making chai on stage. Wow. And so that was obviously a little challenge, obviously, because you have to make sure it's safe. Not set things on fire.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
But and obviously the first preview is always clunky, you know, and you're just kind of like, where are we? We're just trying to get into the space, and lines are just kind of coming and going. And so I think by the second or third, maybe even the fourth show, we were just kind of like, all right, I think we're ready to open now.
Okay.
But it was fun every night, you know, and I guess that's part of like the actors that bring their energy into the space. Never once, not in the 2.5 weeks were we ever. Shit was going on, obviously, in our personal lives, but we would leave it at the door.
Yes.
You know, and that time when we stepped onto that stage, we were not Almitra, Anthony, and Joseph. We were Amalia, Kaveh, and the multiple characters that Joey played.
Right.
And we had a little pre-show ritual, which we would do backstage every day, and we would do a little huddle.
Yeah.
And right before, we'd hold on to each other, and we would just tell each other what we were grateful for.
Yes.
And that just set the tone every day. And then towards the end, I threw in favorite lines of the show. And it was just, it's interesting how you clock lines differently every night. And there was a scene. There's a scene where the immigration officer turns up at your doorstep, and they have to prove that they're in a legitimate relationship, which they are not. Yes. But it's just, Joey is such a strong actor and such a wonderful human. It took everything for me and Anthony not to crack in that moment. Oh, such a fun scene. Just such a fun play. You know what? We'll leave it at that. Just
are you going to be performing it back home? No.
I think the political implications of it will not fly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But suppose you go off to Canada, would you perform it?
Yeah. Like internationally, the show will tour.
Because I guess that's what the
London.
audience is. Like the audience is meant to be like international desis.
Yeah.
Who would relate to the humor, right?
Absolutely. And it is a story based on migration.
Yes.
Right. So I don't think I am doing Blacklisted in Pakistan.
Are you? Have you already talked to someone?
No. Yes. No. Maybe.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
But like, I want to. I think in December I'll do it.
You should.
Oh, I will.
You should.
And it will be bigger and better and
Louder.
just larger. But also like that narrative will shift.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because that expiry date will be gone.
Yes.
And I will not be living that trauma every night.
Yes.
Right? It won't be a constant, there is a ticking time bomb on my leaving.
Yeah.
I think, and
It's dancing on your grave kind of thing, you know.
honestly, I was supposed to do Blacklisted in Melbourne
Yes.
right after For the Love of Paper. Went
Really?
away to LA for a wedding,
Yeah.
but then had to come back and go to Melbourne to do it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I was thinking.
Did you do it in Melbourne?
No, I pulled the plug ages ago.
Okay.
But in hindsight, I was just like, Almitra, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Idiot. I would have really shot myself in the foot. I really would
Yeah,
have.
because
I
of the
wouldn't
prep.
have, 1, prep, 2, mental capacity.
Exactly.
3, coming back, packing your entire... It took me weeks to pack my apartment. Weeks.
Yeah.
7.5 years worth of shit.
Yeah.
It took me forever to pack it. So hindsight, great thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, phew.
Yeah.
And that's what made me realize how beautiful that send-off was for the Love of Paper.
Yeah.
Just that final show was such a wonderful send-off. I was like, I am glad that I ended on this note.
Yes.
I am so glad that was the last thing I did
Yeah.
in Australia.
How was the Adelaide Fringe? What was your experience there? No?
I will not be doing any more fringes anymore.
Like,
No,
was there not enough Desi crowd there or what?
I just think a lot of things worked against me.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a lot that I did.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that did go right,
Yeah.
but there was more things that went wrong.
Okay.
You know, it was just wrong venue, wrong time zone, wrong category, not enough marketing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it didn't work in my favor. And I walked away with debt.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah. And so but in saying that, the beautiful thing about it, and this was my goal all along, is that the international market came to see it.
Yep.
So people from London, from LA, from New York, from India, and people were talking.
Yes.
So when I went to Honeypot, which is their international pitching market,
Yes.
there was someone who hadn't come to see the show.
Yeah.
And was he from Sweden? Stockholm? One of the two. Anyway, I was all like talked out, and I was sitting in a corner just doing life admin things. And he personally came up to me in that little corner and he was like, you don't know me, but I thought you should know that your show is being talked about in the fringe circuit. So well done.
Really?
And I was like, that's really nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, just hearing that as an artist, he's like, we don't tell artists enough that they are. And it is a cutthroat market. It's over 4,000 shows in that Fringe Festival.
Yeah,
so
really.
how do you cut through the market?
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, thank you. But yes, it was more of a shock to perform to Sydney audiences that was sold out to then go to Adelaide and have 10 to 12.
Adelaide's a much tinier market as well.
But like with the right marketing, you know, and the right space.
Yeah.
Like I think you can only survive in Adelaide and thrive there if you are in the big tent.
Yes.
Or in the big where people do walk in randomly.
Yeah.
And I struggle with the idea that it's like no one goes to Fringes to make money.
Yes, they just go there for exposure.
Yeah, and I was like, cool. And yes, everyone has specific goals, but I expected a little more support.
I had a thought about that. Maybe the reason why you had a bigger audience in Sydney, obviously because of the size of Sydney as well. Like there's a larger amount of people from Desi backgrounds here. And if you had gone to Melbourne, it would have been the same. But it's also because in these cities, there are enough Desi people who have been established here long enough that they have the capacity to go out and venture into art shows.
Yeah.
They have the luxury and the freedom to go and watch shows like that.
Yeah, but it also wasn't just the Desis, right? Even like the normal crowd wasn't coming.
Yeah, correct.
And so, because the show is for everyone.
Yeah.
But like the 12, 20, 30 people that like would come in those audiences loved it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that is the reminder is that this show is so universally acceptable and is so it just hits on a very different level, right? And it will hit the Pakistani crowd on a whole different scale.
Yeah.
They might not know the immigrant experience, but they know the Pakistani passport.
They know the Pakistani, they know visa rejections.
Right. And
everybody knows visa rejections in Pakistan.
And everyone knows belonging.
Yes. At
the heart of the show, it is about belonging.
And like your Nani's house, for example. Yeah. Everybody can relate to Nani's house. You know?
And it's I'm actually really excited to go home and do the show.
Yeah.
On a scale that I want to do it.
Yeah.
On home ground.
And you can actually do it in front of friends and family. That's also a big plus. I mean, forget about everything else. Forget about the exposure or what it can get you. But just to show off to the people who are near and close to you that you know, this is something I made.
Yeah.
This is something I did.
And they've been hounding me. They're just like, when do we get to see? And it's not the same when you see it on a screen.
It's not.
It's not.
I can testify to that.
It's not, you know, and that particular show, it's the voice quality goes and like, you know, the crowd is different every night. And, you know, I don't think I'd have to change much in that show. Maybe I'd have to change boys I never met and take out some of the risque things. But I feel like those are all like little minute things that I can change on the fly. And that's the beauty of the show, that it changes.
I might have to take out the Cave of Wonders joke.
Why? Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah.
Maybe you would have to.
Yes, I probably would. I mean, no. I would have had to. But I can actually flip. Yes, please. I can flip that. Like that entire song I can flip.
Yep.
Right?
But speaking of the songs, one thing that I would say is that people back in Pakistan, you do this kind of musical show for them, this would be something very unique for them as well, because they're not used to this kind of musical. Because the music is very international.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also like, it's such a fusion as well.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a story, and I remember doing some of the songs in just like a wellness program, and the youth. The youth latches onto it like no one's business.
Yes.
Speaking of Coke Studio, have you heard the news?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Completely.
Acha, you finish your thought. I want to have a complete... I wanted to have the conversation about Coke Studio. I have a very interesting question to
Okay,
pose
great. Where was I going with that? Yes, the youth. And they are so fascinated.
Yeah.
And it's like you see that and you say, oh, this is actually possible. Someone's actually doing it.
Yes.
You know, and to be able to do songs in language. And I went to, completely side tangent, I went to see a show at the Opera House 2-3 days ago, this week. And it was a lineup of Desi artists, like South Asian artists.
Really?
And
What
there
was
was... It was just a concert.
Like classical concert?
No. It was Eastern Fusion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there were two Tamil singers.
Yeah.
And one Punjabi folk rapper.
Okay.
Who I had to unfortunately leave because there was too much strobing. But very good. I listened to his stuff on Spotify and very, very good rapper.
Daljit Dosanjh to nahi?
Nahi, Raf Sapera.
No, I don't know.
Very good. And so Priya Raghu, Sid, I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it.
Yeah.
But just phenomenal singers. But also that I sat there and I say this and it'll sound wanky, but I literally had a spiritual awakening.
Really?
Truly, I sat there and just the sound of Carnatic music sends you off into some world. And I don't know if it's because like I'm feeling really homesick and emotional, and I don't know if it was that really just sort of hit me. But I sat there and I was like, I need to get back
to the roots.
To the roots, to my, and I want to get, and I think when I go back home, one of the things I will actively seek out is training in Eastern Classical and training Carnatic music, because that fusion
is amazing.
Is so unique. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I do want to get back into, like, I will always have my Western music.
Yeah.
I've always been a lyricist.
Yeah.
But to channel that art form and lyrics in that part of the world where you're surrounded by it, it's just a different experience altogether. And I guess I'm excited for that.
Yeah, good. There's this guy on Instagram. I think you've shared a few of his reels as well. I follow him as well. There's this guy who sings English songs in Carnatic dialect.
Yes.
I forget his name. He is so brilliant, yaar. He is such a brilliant singer.
Hershey? Is that how you pronounce his name? That's him. Is that him?
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy. He is brilliant.
So good.
Love this guy.
So good.
Love this guy.
He's, very, very good.
Yeah, I remember the first video I ever saw of him, a friend of mine shared, and then I think you shared it in your stories as well. He was doing Bruno Mars, Just the Way You Are.
Yeah.
He did that. I was blown away. He did that. And I never really thought about it that, forget about the music.
Yeah.
Because he's not singing to music.
No.
It's just the way you sing it.
Yeah.
He's speaking English, but he's performing it with a dialect.
Yeah.
And just the dialect itself adds so much versatility to the song.
It's just tone.
Just the tone.
It's tone and it's just
and
phrasing.
And you hear it and it's distinctly Carnatic. That blew my mind.
It's when you slip into those micro minor tones.
Yeah.
And like, but it's practice, right? Your ragas need to be so strong.
On point.
Yeah. And it's you like, there's so many different variations of it that, you know, if you slip into another tone, it's another raga. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So much to learn.
Definitely.
So little time.
Coming back. Coke Studio. मुझे एक बात बताओ यार
you listened to season
I
religiously?
I did.
Everyone's going off with like Taylor Swift new album dropping and I'm like
F that
Coke Studio.
I'm like, I can talk about Coke Studio as long as you want me to. I can go into the philosophy of Coke Studio if you want me to. Okay?
We don't have that much time.
What I'm facing is, with the boycott Coke and all that stuff, all of that stuff going on, a lot of people are actually boycotting it. Now, I'm in two minds about that because I get it. The boycott needs to happen because that's for a justified cause. Like, you have to stick it to the man, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I look at Coke Studio and Coke Studio is something homegrown. You feel so close to it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, मुझे ये लगता है कि यार मजदूर की दिहाड़ी तो ना मारो ना.
Yeah.
The people who actually worked on the thing.
Yeah.
ठीक है, Coke is sponsoring it.
Yeah.
You get it. The Coke has funded it.
Yeah.
But the people who worked on it, those are indigenous Pakistani people. Those are artists. And those are people who probably started working on these songs before October 7th.
Correct.
Before October 7th
That's
happened.
right.
So majority of these songs would already have been in production for the past 2 years.
And like they delayed release of it.
Yes.
Because of everything that was happening.
Because of everything that was happening. And now if you don't listen, I mean, people are still listening to it. These songs already have like 15, 20 million views on YouTube, right? So you can't say that people aren't listening to it. People are listening to it.
People are listening to it.
But
and this like...
So should we feel guilty about listening to it? That's my question. Should we feel guilty about listening to it?
It's a hard one. It is a very, very hard question. And I honestly don't have a response for you because I'm guilty of it.
You know what I've done is...
Like,
I'm listening to the songs like in my Coke nahi pee raha.
Right.
I'm not drinking Coke. I'm not drinking Coke, but I'm listening to the songs.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm like, yaar, artist ki dihadi na maro.
This is it. And we also have to understand that it was produced before October 7th.
It was.
And it, at the end of the day, and someone said this to me yesterday, someone is supplying something that comes from a different supplier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how far will you go?
Exactly. So my point is that these are our homegrown artists, right? We shouldn't be, and even the Coca-Cola executives sitting in Pakistan, right? The head of Coca-Cola in Pakistan, I doubt that he would have any bearing on, where the funding is going, whether the funding is going to Israel or IDF or whatever.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have any kind of indication of that.
Yeah.
So again, I guess while there is blame that needs to be put on corporations who are funding genocide, it has to be to a limit, right? Like you said, how far will you trail that thread?
Huh. Yeah, and someone said this, if you look hard enough, you'll see where the money's going.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Like everything can be trailed.
Yeah.
But, and it's hard. This particular section of it is hard because I do want to go back.
Yes.
And I do want Karachi.
Yes.
And my 2 songs that I do in Blacklisted.
Yeah.
To be produced.
Yes.
Properly. And would love to be on Coke Studio.
Yeah.
But the moral compass is like, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
I guess I'll find out when I'm there.
Yeah, hit up Xulfi, see what he says.
I will probably.
To take a moment, how amazing is Xulfi?
Yes! Xulfi!
Yeah,
he's great.
Xulfi for president, yaar.
He's done. Have you been seeing the videos? I think the video productions have just like skyrocketed. I still think, controversial, season 15.
Yeah.
Is that the current one? 14.
Season 15 is the current one.
Season 14. They set the bar very high.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree. I would say season 15 is not going as great as 14 was, but still on its own.
In terms of
yeah.
musicality or in terms of like hitting?
यार देखो पता है बहुत the thing with Coke Studio videos and songs now is that there are 2 elements to it now. One is the visual element and then one is the sonic element. बहुत मर्तबा ये हुआ है अभी with this season that I see the video.
I never see the full video though.
No, I see the video when it comes out, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to get that. I want to have that visual representation of it. But what I've seen is, I look at the video, I listen to the song, okay, fun song, I like it, okay, that's fine. But then I'm at work and I've got my headphones on and I'm just listening to the audio. And the audio is just like so much better.
Yeah, production value is become
The
very,
audio,
very good.
audio is so much better,
Yeah.
and the song hits me a lot deeper when I'm listening just to the audio. So what I see is that you can dissect both parts. You can look at the visual of it. You can dissect that for the production value that they've done over there, because
Yep.
some of those sets are so much fun.
Oh,
They're so fun, you know.
you can tell money's been thrown.
Oh. And what I love about Xulfi is that Xulfi hasn't done anything personally. Like उसने एक गाना खुद नहीं बनाया, but he's enabled people. He's brought in the right people for the right song, and he's enabled them to, okay, here are the resources, just go and have fun.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
Yeah, Coke Studio has shifted massively in the past couple of years, because
Yeah.
when you look at older Coke Studios, it's them in like the basement and
Yes, in the studio.
yeah, and now it's like this
And also
whole-
because previous seasons of Coke Studio before Xulfi came on were more or less like, okay, they did bring in new artists every now and then,
yeah,
but majorly it was the club
yeah,
of existing artists who were just you know
Yeah.
playing around, the established artists.
Yeah.
But now since the past season and this season,
yeah,
we're
It's the
getting
new
artists we haven't heard before,
yeah.
and it's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
what's your pick out of all the songs that have come out now? Which one do you love?
Oh, Yara?
Yeah.
No?
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that guy. He's actually a junior of mine from uni. Abdul Hanan. Yeah.
It also has Kavish in it. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
And
Oh Yara was one of the songs.
I haven't heard Blockbuster yet.
Yeah, Blockbuster is such a fun song.
Is it?
It's such a fun song.
I have not heard it yet. So maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And Halkare?
Harkale.
Harkale.
I love it. That is my pick.
Yeah.
Of all the songs that have come up so far,
Yeah.
Harkale. That is my pick. In terms of set design,
Yeah.
in terms of the detail
Yeah.
in the video, and just in terms of the audio quality and the singing. Who knew English and Pashto could be fused together so effortlessly and so beautifully that, you know, that girl Rehma, she's singing in English, then Pashto, then English, then Pashto, and it is seamless.
Yes. Although I couldn't understand her English.
Yeah. She sings very much like Camila Cabello. She's got like people have been equating her with Camila Cabello the way she sings.
Cool. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, but like Zahoor, the way he's done it, and Abdullah Siddiqui with the production on the audio, just the kick of that song is amazing. And like, और क्या करे यार, बारिश करवा दी set. और क्या करे बंदा, बारिश करवा दी.
It's I think that's the only music video I've seen completely.
Yeah.
The rest I've just seen clips of.
Did you understand the story behind it? The video.
No, I think I've been so like, my brain is just not comprehending anything at the moment.
Yeah.
This is why I just listen to the audio.
So with the video, right?
Yeah.
They're showing everybody waiting for the rain. Like the
Right.
opening shots, it's dry, it's arid, and everybody is looking to the sky that the rain hasn't come.
Yeah, sure.
And then you've got this little shop. I don't know what it's. It's like a.
Isn't it like a little gazebo?
It's one of those, you know, on trade routes you used to have these little stopover areas where like you could get food there,
Like
or
a
you could buy
khoka.
supply, like a khoka, exactly, something like that on a trade route, right?
Yeah.
And like there are people selling their wares over there, selling perfume, selling stuff, having food, having chai, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the story is basically, if you listen to if you read the subtitles of it,
Yeah.
even the lyrics are about that the beloved is not there,
Yeah.
and your life is arid without them. And then when Rehma's verse comes in,
Yeah.
Rehma is depicted in green. So she is the green of the flourish
Yeah.
that comes into life, you know. And then as they reach the zenith of the track, when the final beat
Yeah.
drops, that is when the rain pours.
Yeah.
That
I
I
remember.
was arid and lonely without you,
Yeah.
and now you've come into my life, and now the rain has poured.
I
Absolutely love
tell
that.
people this is that lyricism in our languages, Arabic,
Yeah.
Urdu, Pashto,
Yeah.
Sindhi.
So much better.
Oh, just like
It's so better.
Like the romanticism in our language is just so much richer, so much like it just doesn't
Yeah.
compare.
I just sometimes think I thought that maybe that's my bias, that okay, the romanticism sounds better in my language, but it's not. Like, you try it out in English, it just doesn't match up.
It's like look at our Sufi poets.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Just look back at what they're like Ghalib and all,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Just their poetry, yeah, so beautiful, so beautiful, and just it will not compare.
Yeah.
And
How did you like that one? Ai, the opening track, the first one, the Sindhi one.
not gonna lie, I can't recall it at the moment. I think I've heard all of them. I just
The one that has the peacock in it, the video.
yes, I know which one you're talking
Yeah.
about. I just can't
Recall
recall
the
what
song.
it sounds like in
Okay.
my head right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think season 14 was just
Better.
so many bangers
Yeah.
in that one.
In
Like
one
there's so
season.
many
Yeah.
beautiful like moments
Yeah.
of so many different songs.
Yeah.
I've been playing Mehram on repeat.
Oh my god. That song, I think
Just the
Mehram was the song.
simplicity and
Yeah.
and like I guess
The darkness of that song.
yeah, there's nothing but like a drone.
But that's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the emotion.
I know, and that's what's so beautiful about it.
Like, what does heartbreak sound like? It sounds like Mehram.
Yeah.
What does a breakup sound like? It sounds like Mehram.
But also her voice, both their voices.
Haunting.
Yeah.
I think again that's the brilliance of Xulfi, that he utilized Urooj Aftab really well on that track, because Urooj Aftab, the way she sings, that's a strength. That she takes you down to those deep depths,
Yeah.
and she just keeps you there.
Yeah. Such a beautiful song.
Yeah. Actually, after I heard Mehram, I went back and listened to Urooj Aftab's other work that she's done, the stuff that she won the Grammy off of.
Yeah.
Have you heard
No.
it? It's good. It's renditions of classical Urdu poetry.
Sure.
So, मोहब्बत करने वाले कम ना होंगे, तेरी महफिल में लेकिन हम ना होंगे, all of that. So
You see what I mean? Like, you see what I mean? There's just so much depth. And you translate that into English and it's like,
doesn't have the same effect. Does not have the same effect at all.
No, it doesn't. But, yeah, I want to be on Coke Studio. Xulfi, bye, please.
Xulfi audition ले ले.
Audition le le.
यार वैसे पता है this happened back when I was in uni.
Yeah.
And this was back when Xulfi was still doing Nescafe Basement.
Oh, Nescafe Basement.
Though again, I'd say some Nescafe Basement songs are better than Coke Studio songs of that time.
Huh?
You know?
Yeah, they were competing at the time.
Yeah. And Xulfi basically built it up from this nothing brand to what it became. You know? So what I was telling you about was, one thing I loved about what Xulfi did was that towards the end of his stint with Nescafe Basement, he was going around universities all over Pakistan, and he was holding open auditions. That if you play any instrument, if you write songs, if you perform in any way, come and audition. It's an open invitation. And like, if you've got the substance, he'll put you on Nescafe Basement. Isn't that amazing? Like, that's it, isn't it? Like the opening of barriers. Like, you're not
That's what I mean.
you're not gatekeeping.
That's it. Like, it's just as easy as that. Right? It's open the doors. Keep them open.
Exactly.
Why do you need to, what are you saving it for? Like, why are you gatekeeping?
You know why?
Is the real question.
It goes back to the class debate, doesn't it? Like, there's only a certain specific class of people who get to appear on TV. There's only a class of people who get to do mainstream songs. But now that's not the case.
That's it. And, the game is completely changing.
Yes.
And there's, like, there's so many South Asians thriving.
Yes.
Thriving in not only in Australia but around the world.
Around the world.
And I think the perception of the arts in Pakistan is also changing.
It is.
And and that is what I'm excited
Yes,
for, right?
yes.
To go back.
The
and
accessibility.
but just to go back and be a part of that change,
Yes.
right? Because so many people flippantly have said here, but you can be the change here and you can change representation and diversity. I'm like, kahan se karu main? Matlab, like if you don't give me a seat at the table,
Yes.
I can't do squat.
Yes.
If you cut off my legs
Yes.
before I can do anything,
And all you can offer me is just a token position. It doesn't it doesn't work.
and I'm like, unless I'm doing my own thing, there's
Yes.
just no way for me to have this conversation.
Yes.
And I am tired of it. Frankly, I don't want to do your homework for you.
Yes.
I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to do your homework for you. Like, that's what it is.
That's it.
And I think it's a very exciting time to go home.
Yes.
I think...
Yeah, then
I
when you
think-
would have left, there wasn't as much opportunity back then than there is now.
And it's interesting to me, and it's such a... It's such a contradiction in my heart, is that... And we heard it in Blacklisted, is that I'm so torn between these two countries, is that I called Australia somewhat of a home for 7.5 years. And now I'm going back to my home, right? And part of me is like, yes, I'm going back. And so many people are like, do you want to leave? And that is a fully loaded question, right? Because, and I thought about this, is that what happens if I stay? What happens if I had found a way to stay? Would I still be slaving away at jobs that don't serve me? Or places that don't let me create or be an artist? Or slum it for the next 5-7 years till I get a PR?
Yeah.
Time is now.
Yes.
Time is now, right? And I think it's interesting because there's a different level of boldness
Yes.
that has come through doing my own work. And it's not arrogance. It's really truly not. It's just knowing, having faith in your craft.
In your craft, yeah.
Right? Having faith in your craft. And it's not this hero position where I'm like, I must create this so that, I must. No, I'm just creating because I want to say something. Right? And the quote of nothing changes if nothing changes. We have to change, and and I guess in this country we have to just kind of like whack it on the head.
Yeah.
Till it becomes the norm.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm slightly tired of that, and I need to move away from it just to kind of gain more perspective, but also go home and just be Almitra, the writer, composer, performer.
Rather than Almitra,
The Persian,
the Persian Pakistani.
Pakistani.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have this debate over here, and
Why must I fight so much for my identity?
why must I fight just to get to the starting line? That's the issue, that you have to fight just to get to the starting line, just to get noticed. Forget about excelling and becoming mainstream. You have to fight just to get noticed in the first place.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm at that point where, in hindsight, I think about my trajectory in Australia, and did I do what I came here to do? No, I did not. Did I find something better? Yes, I did.
That's what I mean. Like
Like
what you came here for, Australia might not have given you what you wanted, but it gave you what you needed.
Absolutely. And I never disregard that. Like, I found a love for composition. I found a love for writing. I never thought I would be a writer
Yes.
and tell these stories and have something to say. And
Yes.
but also, like, get to so many people.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time
Yeah.
to be a South Asian.
Yeah. And I reckon, like, if you do have to go back with all of these experiences and having catered to an international audience and honed your craft, that it becomes digestible for everyone.
Yeah. And I think that part of my craft will change and develop when I go home.
Yes.
Right? Because obviously I can't just go back home and say, this is my way.
Yeah.
This is how the West do it. And this is how it's going to be. मुझे कोई घास नहीं डालेगा.
Exactly.
Right? And so I have to create those safe spaces, and I have to create that relatability,
Yes.
that, like, collaboration,
Yes.
right? I want to take what you have to offer,
Yes.
and I want to contribute to that,
Yes.
and let us make something amazing.
And that's the best thing, isn't it? Because collaboration is one thing that I think might be lacking in the Pakistani conscience, because वो चीज़ एक develop ही नहीं की गई ना कभी कि
Yeah.
collaborate भी किया जा सकता है.
Huh. And it's like let us create something from ground up
Yeah.
and be part of what we have to offer. Like,
Yeah.
we have so many talented musicians,
Yeah.
writers, composers,
Lyricists.
lyricists, and
Yeah.
like, I'm very, very excited to go home, create new things,
Yeah.
get to the underbelly of what is going on
Yes.
in Pakistan at the moment.
You're going to be in Karachi. Man. Karachi is the hotbed of new music right now. I don't know if you follow Pakistani artists on Spotify. Do you at all?
No. Yes. No.
Yeah, because there'd be a lot younger kids over there
Yeah.
compared to us now. You know,
Except Hassan Rahim. He seems to have blown up when I was there.
Hassan Rahim was one of the early ones who blew up,
Ah.
but he was the first sign of that wave that was coming.
Yes.
You know,
That's it.
and that new wave has truly arrived.
Mm.
You know, and now you look at the new wave of Pakistani music. It's got everything, mate. It's got classical, it's got pop, it's got rap, it's got
Yeah.
hip hop, it's got you've got heavy death metal
I
playing
know.
out of Pakistan. So there's a niche
Not
for
my jam.
not mine either. Not mine either. But the
Yeah.
fact is that it is there.
It's there.
It's there for people who consume it. I was listening to this. I had Spotify on, so you know Spotify every now and then throws in a new song for you to check out.
Do
But-
they?
Yeah, like there's this feature like on Spotify Daylist.
Ah.
If you go on Daylist or if you go into the Spotify DJ,
Yeah.
so it gives you 9 songs that you're used to,
Yeah.
and then 1 song to just try out.
Cool.
And every now and then it throws you one song that you're like, I have to go on my screen and hang on, what is this? So that way, I recently got exposed to this Bengali rock band out of Dhaka, and I have become a fan. I cannot understand their lyrics.
Yeah.
But
And
the music.
Yeah, sometimes you just you don't have to, and that's what
Yeah.
happened at the concert as well. I don't speak Tamil,
Yeah.
but like,
The production quality, the quality of the execution of the song, I was blown away by it. And like the same thing with Coke Studio Bangla.
yeah.
They're doing amazing stuff. Like Coke Studio Pakistan is all like that's the forerunner,
Yeah.
right? Then Coke Studio India came out, and they were
Did
like,
it?
Coke Studio India has been around for like I don't know 10 years now, but they never blew up the same way, because the blessing and the curse of Bollywood is that the Bollywood controls the film industry, but Bollywood also dictates the music industry.
Interesting.
And over the past 50 years, Bollywood has shaped the appetite of the Indian audience in such a way that if they listen to anything other than Bollywood music, they kind of like, what is this? It doesn't feel right. You know?
Yeah.
And Bollywood music is not indie music.
No.
You know?
No, because you hear and it is a distinct.
And
Sound.
indie music in India is really good.
Yeah.
If you listen to a few of their artists, like Anuv Jain, for example,
I'm so out of that world.
Yeah.
I sometimes just don't have time to listen to music.
Yeah.
I do, but I don't. I should. I should start
I'll
broadening. Yes, please just send me.
I'll send you stuff.
Yes,
I'll send you
please,
stuff.
just
So in the
send
same
it to
way,
me.
Coke Studio Bangla.
Huh.
Coke Studio Bangla has been around for I think 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
But they have leapfrog ahead of India now. And after Coke Studio Pakistan, like I think Coke Studio Bangla is like really strong.
Yeah, wow.
They're going really, really strong. And that's done wonders for their industry. Because now they have those independent music acts coming up. And people are making music now.
Yeah, wow. I should listen to this music. I should broaden my horizons and stop.
Yeah.
Part of me is also, I guess I don't listen. I do and I don't, to points where when I want to write music, I don't listen to music. Because it
interferes with your
it
process.
interferes with my process. It also like interferes with like trying to make it sound like something else, and then I'd get influenced very quickly.
But isn't influence and inspiration part of it?
Yes and no. Like I try and listen to specific genres that will inspire me, but I don't. Yeah, if I'm oblivious to it, I can't copy
Like
it.
if you open up your Spotify, what are you listening to?
Oh, such a mix. Like it's Coke Studio. It's like old 80s, 70s, like really old music. And then there's Bollywood and...
But predominantly Western music or Eastern music.
I think it's 50-50.
Okay.
I think it's 50-50. I do listen to a lot of Bollywood.
Okay.
Like old Bollywood. Like dance tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Gets me fun going. But like...
Hey, I mean, like Bollywood has thrown out some gems. I don't listen to Bollywood mainstream music.
Yeah.
I don't, but they have thrown out gems over the past and they still do.
And like... And Pakistani music in general as well. Like old... Like Noori and like...
You and I grew up around the same time, right?
Yeah.
You and I grew up the time of Indus music.
Yeah.
That was the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yes.
That's it. And so like Atif Aslam and Ali Zafar and...
Yeah, I've kind of fallen out of love with Atif. I know people are going to kill me for that, but I've kind of fallen out of love with Atif.
I mean, I haven't been listening to his new stuff.
Exactly.
Is there new stuff?
There is.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't been listening to that. So, which is why I've been like holding on to all of his old stuff.
Because I feel all he does now is like love ballads. And that doesn't hit me the same way anymore.
You know, I think about, and obviously these days it's been hitting me much harder.
What?
Just leaving.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, you know, and it's a mixed wave of emotions.
What are you going to miss most, and what are you going to miss least about being in Australia?
Such a controversial question.
Wajay.
I guess the thing I will miss least about Australia, and I feel like I'm going to get cancelled for this, is the industry.
Okay.
I will not miss it.
Okay.
I will not miss it. The thing I will miss the most is the people. 100%. Like the people and the physical place itself, I guess. I guess the beauty of it.
Beautiful.
The beaches.
The beaches. The surfers.
Yeah, just walking around places, noticing the beauty of nature and just this country. It is
quite beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Right? I will not deny that. And I think eventually I'll come back. You know, I think eventually it would be a beautiful place to settle. But I will not come back until I see a shift in the industry.
Or maybe just not come back to Sydney. Maybe come back to...
Yeah. Maybe travel Melbourne. Maybe...
Melbourne is where the art's at, to be honest.
I know. Everyone keeps telling me that.
Melbourne is where the art's
and
at.
I do plan on like...
You never really explored Melbourne art-wise, did you? You didn't?
No, but I made enough connections there to then poke the bear. To be like, hi, can we? Yeah. And, you know, it's not the end once I leave Australia.
Yeah,
I have so many connections here. I've made so many beautiful connections, and coming back to the boldness of it,
Yeah.
right? At this point, I have nothing to lose, right?
That's
I have nothing to lose. So, where previously, maybe even a year ago, I would be tiptoeing
Yeah.
around things and, apologizing for my work and what it stands for and where it should be. I am now coming from a place of, if you want it, you want it.
Yes.
You don't, goodbye.
Yes. Yes.
Right? I'm not tiptoeing around conversations to say, hey, let's maybe chat about this thing, and then maybe when we're chatting, I'll find the right time to sort of throw in things. I'm like, no, I want to have a chat about programming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy my show.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And I'm like, if you want it, you want it. If you don't want it, I'll find someone who does.
So in that way,
Right?
In that
And-
way,
and
Almitra coming out of her shell, like when you first arrived,
Yeah, 100%.
you're pretty sheltered, right? But now leaving, you're out of that shell.
Absolutely. But also it's just kind of like, and someone said this to me in Adelaide Fringe, and I was having this conversation with someone from New York, and he was like, when we have a conversation with you, we understand what you want. We understand that you are passionate about what you do, but you're not pushy. And that's great. Because some people do come from like,
Yeah.
this is what I want. There is obviously a way and tactic to do it.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm like,
You going
And
back.
I will find 100 more avenues. I will be sitting on my laptop being, hi, maybe I should do a residency in Greece.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Chule hai na mujhe,
Yeah.
Pakistani kira. And so and my mother, bless her heart, she'll be like, we'll see how long you stay.
Yeah.
But I do. And it's such a weird thing. Do I want to settle? Yes, I do. But also I don't. And I want to travel the world. And I just have to be smart.
You can still travel around and do all sorts of projects all over the world while still being centered in Pakistan.
That's it. And like it'll be nice to have a home base.
Exactly.
And I think but also, I love experiencing new places and meeting new people. So I will probably go to London at some point. I will probably go to Germany at some point, Berlin.
Yeah.
I really, truly want to go to India
Yeah.
and explore maybe the Bollywood scene there. Maybe I'll be an item number. Who knows?
Who knows?
The possibility.
I will edit out and save that bit of the conversation, and 20 years down the line, maybe I'll post this back to you
No,
when
you
you're
can post it.
when you're actually doing an item number, na, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I look at the item numbers and I was like, wow.
You know what? And when you travel to all of these places, right?
Yeah.
At least now, you won't have that added headache of, "Hi, मुझे residency चाहिए, मुझे residency चाहिए, मुझे visa दे दो, मुझे ये दे दो, मुझे वो दे दो."
Yes.
You won't have that headache.
That is what I am most excited for, to sit in a place and not fight immigration.
Exactly.
Also, I feel like travel will start becoming easier for me when I am established in a place to say, I have things I have to do here. I need
Exactly.
to come back.
Yeah. Like
So-
like in Pakistan, I've got a shit ton of work going on. मैं नहीं जा रही कहीं भी. मैं वापस आऊंगी.
घर घर है.
घर घर है.
And I think back to this, and I think back to the song Karachi,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, right.
And I think that I shot myself in the foot when I wrote that song because, and I wrote it in 2016. We spoke about this last time, right?
Yeah.
Is when I had gone to the US and come back the first time. And I wrote that song, and that bridge says, छोड़ कर जाते हैं
पर लौट
कर आते हैं कभी. And that line is a hauntingly solid line
Yeah.
that I feel will haunt me
Yeah.
the day that I die. And
You know what? You going back, and if you start getting involved in the upcoming music scene, which there is no dearth of in Pakistan now, especially in Karachi, one thing that really plays in your favor is having this exposure to a very mature industry in Australia. You can take all of the best practices from here and you can introduce them over there. And by doing that, you would not only exalt your own self as a professional, but also you will collectively increase the professionalism of the industry over there. Okay, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
This is how work can be done in a much better, in a much more
Efficient.
cohesive way.
Yeah. That's it. And like, you know, I'd love to go there, do some workshops, do teaching, do, you know. Might dabble in stand-up comedy, who knows?
Oh. No, you could do it. You could do it.
Thanks, Hussain.
No, I mean, look, to be honest, people who act on stage,
Huh.
I think they can do stand-up comedy really well because comedy requires impeccable timing.
Yeah, I know, but not everyone has it. I've seen some terrible comedy.
Yeah.
So, no, not everyone can be a stand-up comedy is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
It's not just about being a good actor and
Hey, who knows? Maybe you could be the one. Like a lot of these stand-up comics girls in India who are coming up, who are challenging the stereotype through comedy.
Well, we have brown woman comedy in Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly, something like
You
that.
know?
You could, there's a troupe of female comics in Karachi.
I know.
The Khawatuns.
I know all of them.
Do you?
I do.
Love their work. Me and my missus, we went to a show of theirs.
Yeah,
Brilliant work.
they're all really
Brilliant
funny.
work. They
They're
did
so funny.
they did an improv troupe like Whose Line Is It Anyway? One person hosting and all the others acting to it.
And was it all in Urdu?
Yeah, like जिस तरीके से हम बोलते हैं, like English Urdu mixed.
Yeah.
Mix like a mix of both languages.
Yeah, okay.
But majorly in Urdu. But do you think you can do comedy in Urdu, or do you think you'd much rather do it in English? To be honest, there's an appetite for both
I know.
in Pakistan
It's
because the only people who
I'd
are
have to
listening to
really polish my Urdu,
yeah.
and which will happen once I'm in.
Yeah, when you're there, when you're talking to people, obviously that will happen.
It will. It comes back very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll step away from writing about immigration,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. I will finish.
Yep.
There's so many things on my writing board at the moment. Like, I think something that I will push for now is my musical.
Is what?
My musical,
Your musical, okay.
the one we spoke about
Okay.
last time, which I've been writing for 5 years.
Alia.
Yes,
Yes.
that one. Good memory. Good memory. Yes, I'm trying to get Alia off the ground.
Yes.
And I have to be tactful about it. I will probably have a better plan once I am there to see what I can and can't do, and what would be the best way forward.
Yep. Nice.
But blacklisted in December. Aaja.
I'd be down for it. Yeah. मतलब
Come to Karachi.
blacklisted. I can see it. I can definitely see an audience appetite for something like blacklisted.
Have you been to KPI?
What is that?
KPI, Karachi Parsi Institute,
No.
near St. Pat's.
No.
St. Pat's ke barabar mein.
I must have seen it. I've
Yeah.
never been. What is it?
It's just a venue.
Okay.
It's just a venue.
Okay.
And yeah. We have-
Target something like the Arts Council, because like with KPI.
Yeah,
The thing
I
with
feel like
KPI is
Arts Council is a bit too big.
No,
blacklisted.
Go to Napa.
Yes,
Napa-
I
Napa
haven't
have a-
seen the Napa
Napa
stage.
Napa stage is really good. It's like, you know, those stepped seats. They don't have proper seats. They just have the steps.
Yeah, and then
and
cushions.
then the stage itself is just like
Is
a
it
one.
flat?
It's a flat one step stage,
Oh, okay.
right? So the Napa stage is really good for getting, like, you know, shows that are trying to get off the ground, like a preview or like
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
starting out. They're really
No,
good at that.
there's a lot of like, I haven't seen the Napa stage for a while,
Yeah.
but I will obviously.
and there are some
I'll
people
probably get my musicians from there.
and there are people who are doing some really ambitious projects there. Like they did Equus there at Napa. Now, would you believe
They did what?
Equus?
What is that?
This famous play about the boy who loves horses.
Don't know it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So the thing is that it's like completely Gora play. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A play that you would think that has absolutely no appetite in Pakistan. They did that.
Was it well received?
It was very well received. It had a full house. And it was very well produced as
How
well.
many days?
I don't know. That I don't know. But it had some really. But the thing is that they got some really good artists to work on that. The guy who starred in.
Are they local?
Yes. The guy who starred in Joyland. Something Junejo, I forget.
Ali.
Ali Junejo.
Does he go by Ali Junejo now?
Yeah. I think it's Ali Junejo. He was in Joyland, right?
Ali.
Yeah. So he did Equus. He was the lead in that. So.
Yeah.
So you would already have like an established, especially with the work that you've already done with like Greece and stuff. You would have a network.
I do have a network, and like there's so many people that I've already started conversations with, and they're like, "Aja," and I think that is just that one word can spark so much joy.
Yeah. I just hope, for God's sake, that once you get there, just try to steer the theatre scene away from all of the Anwar Maqsood plays. I mean, I don't mind them, but it's constantly like the Pakistan Arts Council is constantly like पौने 14 अगस्त, सवा 14 अगस्त, साढ़े 14 अगस्त, मतलब 14 अगस्त से आगे जा ही नहीं पा रहे आप.
Yep. I mean,
You know?
yeah, and that's yeah, we must steer away from. I mean, they can still happen. Like that's still part of our like culture and.
But
like,
that shouldn't be the only thing that's coming out of it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it still going?
I mean, they come out with a new version every 2 years or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh well, no. There's people that I obviously will coax and.
Yeah, and with the Pakistani theatre production and like with movies, there's always going to be people who are going to be trying to push the envelope. Like with what Joyland did. Joyland pushed the envelope. People who are trying to do maybe plays that are more centered around women's issues or women's rights or minority rights or something, for example. These are conversations that need to happen.
Yeah.
But they're not being given the space or the security to happen. I mean, I don't know how adventurous you want to be, but you can always push the envelope there.
Yes, I think I have to step into the water first. And test it out a little bit. And also gain trust.
Exactly.
That is such a big part of it, because it's also more of a thing of like, oh, I don't want to, and I say this in my show, I don't want to be seen as a foreigner.
Yes.
Like, no.
Yes.
Born and bred here.
Born and bred.
Born and bred. You know, yes, I went away for a little bit, but I came back. And people are going to be like, yeah, but you didn't have a choice. And I'm like, no, actually, I did. I did have a choice. And I could have chosen to go somewhere else.
Yes. If you wanted. Yes.
If I wanted to,
Yes.
I would have started progress on the UK.
Yeah.
Berlin.
Canada.
No, not Canada.
Not Canada.
No, not Canada. We must. You know what? I think leaving this place and having a different narrative to Blacklisted will actually heal my trauma from Canada. And you know what? I'm gonna start not hating on Canada, because the universe is like, just let it go. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll let it go, and then maybe things will happen.
But as it stands at this moment, fuck Canada.
Sure. Yeah. Fuck Canada. Very quietly. Politely. But yes, I did have a choice.
Yeah.
I did have a choice.
And you know what? I've also seen that with a lot of people who come out of Pakistan, right? Like yourself. Okay, you're from the Parsi community, obviously, right? What I've seen is a lot of Parsi people who actually immigrate out of Pakistan, they're very quick to let go of that Pakistani part of their identity. They don't give two shits about it, to be honest. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
They just want to go somewhere and establish themselves that, okay, I'm here. This is my entirety now. But for you, with your work, with Blacklisted, and with even with For the Love of Paper, like
Yeah.
being from Karachi, being a Pakistani, growing up, that forms a huge part of your own internal monologue. That is me.
Yeah, and it is heartbreaking to hear people so defeated in Pakistan.
Yes.
Like like my generation and stuff are just kind of like, nahi aao वापस यहाँ कुछ भी नहीं है. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I will make the best of the situation
Yes.
that I
Yes.
have. Okay? I will do what I need to do. Yes, you may be tired. And if you are that tired, do something about it. Right?
Yeah.
My whole thing is you can complain till the cows come home. But if you want change, no one can do that for
Yes.
you.
Yes. You have
But
to create.
yourself.
You have to create the change. Agreed. 100% agreed. Or if there are forces out there in Pakistan who are trying to trample on minority voices, or who are trying to trample on the minority narrative, if the people from those communities just pack their bags and leave, आप तो उसके लिए काम आसान कर रहे हो ना. At least let your voice be heard.
Yeah.
At least speak up. That is the least that you can do.
Yeah. And it's like I see it, and everyone that leaves is just kind of like they're very quick, obviously, to let go of that
Yes.
Pakistani passport identity. I don't know. I guess life has just dealt a different hand for me, and my narrative is my narrative, and how I feel is how I feel. Like, don't tell me how I feel about my country. I know what's going on. I know the shit that is happening, but people are still living there. People are still living there. My family's still there. Life is happening. Life is going on.
Yep.
Life is going on.
सही बात है.
And it's all relative, right?
So,
It's all relative.
what do you-
Because look at what is happening in the world.
yes. Yeah, if you take a macro view, everything's going to shit collectively.
Collectively, everything is going to shit. And if I have a roof over my head, food on the table,
People that you love,
people that I love,
what else do you need?
I've already won,
Exactly.
right?
So, what does being Pakistani mean to you then? Yeah,
Why would you
this is a very meta level question, because I feel Pakistan as an idea exists very differently for everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
for somebody who's living in KP, to somebody living in Balochistan, to somebody living in Karachi, to somebody living in Lahore, the idea of Pakistan is very vastly different. You know? And I don't know about you, but I've been dabbling into history the past couple of years, and the more I get into it, the more my idols are broken. And the more my idols are broken, I find myself questioning on what is right and what is wrong and what do you even believe in. But I always come back to the fact that on a state level, all of the blunders that have been made, putting them aside, the people are still just the people. The people are still... Does that mean that the people are not worthy of love or appreciation or care? Compassion is, in spite of everything, in spite of everything that has happened in the past 75 years,
Yeah.
compassion still exists in people.
Yeah. And it's the few bad eggs that ruin it for the rest
That's it.
of everyone.
I don't think it's even the bad eggs. It's just on a state level. I like, again, I can speak at as much length as you want on this, but it's always been, it has always been a class struggle. That has been the story of Pakistan. It has always been the class struggle. It's always been this entitled class of people who have presided over what is Pakistan and dictated it according to their whims of what it should be, on how to run the country in a way that maximizes benefit for them,
Yeah.
even if it comes at the cost of the people.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I agree with that. It is at a state level, and I've been away for so long that I have been living guiltily
Yeah.
in my bubble.
Yeah.
Though I think when I go back, it might come as a shock
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
as to what is really going on in the
Yeah.
depths of
I
the
actually-
government and the what is really going on. And
I found it the other way around. I found it that when I was living there, because you're so close to it and you're living in it, you can't see the bigger picture. Because the media there and everything is working in such a way that it's constant distraction. Living in Pakistan is a constant distraction from the bigger image. It is only after I moved out and I was able to see the whole thing on a macro level, and not just from Pakistan's perspective, but also from other countries' perspective on that rough neighborhood that we belong to, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that it starts making sense that, okay, why are things the way they are? Why are things happening the way they're happening? And what is the outlook of this?
Yeah.
And then it brought me to reading up on about colonialism and the way we were ruled over, and the British creating this bureaucratic class that was meant to serve only as a subservient administrative class. They didn't really care about the populace. They just built up the military and the bureaucracy just so they could efficiently do their work while they were ruling over us.
Yeah.
And then 1947, they fucked off, leaving behind the bureaucracy and the military, who were still trained in the same mindset of the colonizers, who are now suddenly in charge. So it is so messed up that you never truly had some leadership growth from the ground level. You never had that.
No, we didn't. And it's interesting because growing up, and I am still so guilty of not getting involved in politics.
Yeah.
But then the older I grow, my activism Kira jumps in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is the humanity? Also, why are we here? And what has gone wrong? And, there is so much that I still don't understand about Pakistan and its politics. And I think I did for the longest time turn a blind eye to so many things. And it was very much a situation. And because there was nothing I could do about it at that point. Right? But now I'm older, I like to think I'm wiser.
Yeah. The world is much more informed now. The average Pakistani is now much more informed.
Yeah. The average Pakistani is much more informed. The culture is shifting.
Yes.
And
I'd say the culture is shifting at a faster rate than the people in power can actually imagine. And the funny thing is, they don't know what to do about it. For the first time in Pakistan's history, the ruling class does not know what to do.
how exciting.
It is because it's coming to a point where things are starting to get out of their hand and people are starting to question, okay, hang on.
I think this is worldwide though.
True. I mean, look at what's happened. Like if anything, the Palestine and Gaza issue has exposed world leaders for what they are. That they only do the bidding of their lobbyists. So who's really in charge? Shareholders.
Correct. And I think this issue has brought on so much activism to the forefront.
It has.
Journalism, activism, just people being infuriated. But also on that flip side is people still have no conscience. I'm like, how have you stayed silent this long?
You know why?
It's
Because
been 8 months.
8
8 months.
And you're talking
And
about
counting.
you're talking about people who still haven't picked a side yet. Like there is no side.
It's not, and at this point, it's just not about sides. It's really not. And everyone's getting really, really upset is that, oh, you're only speaking to one side. And we're like, no. We are speaking to the side of humanity.
Exactly.
Like, we don't want people to die on either side.
Exactly.
On either side. And we keep coming back to this argument is that what is happening right now in Rafah is worse than like anything we have now seen.
Ever seen.
Right?
Ever seen.
And you are still silent.
Yeah. How can you remain silent after seeing something like that? Irrespective of which part of the world it's happening in. Irrespective of who it's happening to.
Women, children, like the atrocities that are coming out of that place. Like I see my phone and I can't look away anymore.
And yet, over the past 8 months, we have seen things that will probably remain etched in our memory for a lifetime.
Yeah, 100%. And
have
it's
seen
such a dystopian world where it's like you see this thing and then you go on with normal life. And it's like...
You have to.
You have to.
You have
and
to, but
then-
it's always at the back of your mind. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen videos or images like that. And then, like, at one moment I'm looking at my phone and all of this stuff, and my daughter comes up to me and, Baba, let's play.
Huh.
And I cannot help but think that,
Yeah.
you know, she like
Yeah.
what I'm seeing on the phone, that child was just as innocent, as precious as my child over here. And my child over here has absolutely no idea of what people her age are going through in another part of the world.
In another part of the world. And it's like... But it's also about, I guess, who is dying, right? It's that constant, like if something was to happen
Yep.
in the West,
Yes. Oh, I think we're way beyond that point. The amount, the kind of stuff that has already happened in Gaza to the Palestinian people, if it was any white country, if it was any Western allied country, there is absolutely no way. And the kind of people who were cheering this shit on, kill them all. Nikki Haley signing a whistle.
I saw
saying-
that. I was like, what?
I mean, forget everything else. Just think about your own PR image. Just think about what you're doing.
The world has gone mental. And it's a weird time to be in this country and then see what is going on and hearing people complain about like mundane shit. I'm like,
Yeah. And you know what? I also found something really interesting is that you're in Australia, right? Now, Australia has absolutely no direct influence in this entire conflict. The US does, because the US is funding it, right? But Australia doesn't really have a direct, it doesn't
Not
have
that
a
we
horse in
know
that
of.
race, right? But my point is, because Australia is allied with the US, you see that the overall narrative and the way the issue is being dealt, you see the tilt there.
yeah,
100% you see the
Absolutely.
tilt.
there is definitely a tilt. And they're obviously protecting themselves in this whole situation. And at this point, everything that is coming out, you're just kind of like, what is the truth? And you're sitting there going, are you dumb? Like, what?
Yeah.
There is so, and we are consuming so much information on a daily basis. Is our brains are going, where are we actually looking?
Yeah. Bringing it back, reeling it back.
Yes,
I
think
hope
we've talked.
by the time this podcast comes out, I hope by this episode comes out, there is some kind of ceasefire. There is some kind of reprieve for people. I hope there is something that we have to be thankful for by that point.
I hope so.
It's just depressing.
And I just, everyone should be calling for a ceasefire.
Everybody is. That's the problem. You see, you go look at the ceasefire resolution at the UN.
Yeah.
120 countries asking for a ceasefire. How many countries asking not for it? 3. But that's what shows everybody, right? That is the balance of power in the world right now. Just because somebody has the money and the influence, they can get away with bloody murder.
Yeah.
And the world just has to stand by and watch. Like there's no better representation than the UN itself. Like 120 countries voting for a ceasefire, including China and Russia.
Yeah. He will not stop. I don't think he will stop.
But I don't understand what the end game is. Suppose Rafah is destroyed. Suppose in the worst case scenario, they wipe out everyone. What's the end game then? Just take over the entire Gaza Strip and that's it. That's Israel now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How then? What the ICJ ruling just goes away? The arrest warrants just disappear. Like do they just get away with it?
They'll make it disappear. We know this. They are in power. We know this though. They have done it for 75 years.
But then, like, the next time the country goes into election, the US goes into election, like it is now, किस मुंह से वोट मांगने जा रहे हैं वो? And that then
they will.
And then that circles back to the whole thing, that there is this facade of democracy, the facade that you have a choice in what your government does, the facade that you have a voice, that your government is actually listening to you. They don't give a shit about what you're saying. They don't give a shit about what the majority. Yeah, they're just looking for the votes to legitimize what they're going to do anyway.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like blind leading the blind situation going on. There's also like people don't know any better. Sometimes it's more like which is lesser of the two evils. Like I'm like, wow.
Anyways, fuck that. Coming back. So, before we wrap this up, Almitra.
Don't throw me anymore. Curveballs.
I'm not going to throw you in any curveballs. I will throw you one little curveball.
No,
though.
please don't.
I'll ask you. I'll ask you to sign off. Look, normally I end the podcast with my question about what your nugget of truth is, but we've already covered that, and we've already asked you what like what's the thing you're going to miss most and miss least about Australia anyway. So I was thinking about what could be the best way that I could, end the podcast with you. So normally I end it for the first time ever because you're leaving. I will let Almitra let you sign us off.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Just because it's fun.
No, I'm terrible at these things. You know this. I guess. I guess this is not goodbye. This is until we meet again.
Yep.
And I'm definitely sure that I will be back.
Yes.
And I guess there's a lot of love in my heart for this country, for its people. And if you ever find yourself in Karachi, you know where to find me.
And if you ever find yourself in Sydney, there's a seat at this table open for you every time.
Thank you, Hussein, for having me. This is In the Gap podcast. Thank you for watching.
See you guys in the next one.